makes sense to, if you have your video be at least 8 minutes long to post to YouTube, 8 to 10 minutes, then you're basically doubling your potential for making money on that because you got an ad in the beginning and an ad in the middle.
Correct. And actually at 8 minutes, you also are allowed to have ads at the end that auto play before the next video begins that are attributed to yours. So inevitably, most viewers are going to see the first ad for the next video, but if that happens to not be yours, they'll have had to encounter one on your channel as well.
So triple then.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, the ad rates for different placements are very different. And so the ads that you'll see that are non-skippable at the beginning of a video, those are going to be your highest ad rate. That means that the advertiser is paying a lot more for that placement than they will for, say, a skippable ad 2/3 of the way through a video. Obviously, the likelihood that a viewer encounters that is considerably lower.
And the reason why that we were talking about this, because you've got kids, you've got Graham and Gracie, and I've got Isla, and they'll just, if I give them a YouTube on my phone, she'll watch it all day long if I don't take it away from her. And just from video to video to video to video. And most of the content is terrible. It's
Correct.
really poor quality. So it's kind of seems like a big opportunity.
Yeah, so I thought that as well. So I started making videos for my targeted genre and eventually making, something of a living through doing it. And I'm like, all right, well, if you like cars, at this point, it's become pretty likely that you'll have heard of VinWiki and maybe watched one or two of the 1,000 videos that we produced. However, it's almost inconceivable that you would have watched it 5 or 6 times. However, if my kid watches a YouTube video, there's a reasonable chance that he's going to want to watch that video every single morning. And, we have to limit our kids' access to social media because we have a lot less control over what they're seeing than if we know that it was produced by Disney or something else that like when we grew up, that we saw. And so there is the risk of unsafe content. There are a lot of risk. However, I saw that and I was like, look, these guys are getting 30, 50 million views a video. Like, that's more than I was getting a year for a very long time in producing my own content. Like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
And so I started to experiment because my son and I, who's now 6 years old, our favorite thing to do together is build Hot Wheels tracks. And so we'll build these elaborate tracks that run around the house. And, when he wants to watch something on a computer screen, he really wants to watch Hot Wheels videos. And the YouTube Hot Wheels videos are terrible. I mean, they're not interesting. They're not compelling. They're not impressive. There's nothing that you want to see about it. However, there's not better options. And so I was like, well, I could make better Hot Wheels videos for YouTube. Now, as weird as it is to have people show up and ask to take a picture with me at a car show, the last thing I want is to be walking through a grocery store and have some 8-year-old come up screaming, Mr. Ed, whatever that is. So it wasn't the most attractive way to make money, but I certainly saw it as a huge opportunity. So we did some experimentation with some kids-oriented videos, really just making Hot Wheels tracks or like ABC stuff with cars or anything like that. And nothing really took off, and I'm quite pleased with that because not long after that, we saw the COPA regulations crack down, mostly based out of California, but affecting generally everybody. And that meant that the ad platforms can't know what ads they are serving to children. So technically, you're not allowed to have an account for any social media platform if you're under the age of 12. However, obviously they know based on the kind of content that you're watching if you're under 12 years old. And if that's the case, they have to just blindly serve you ads, meaning it just randomly serve to, whatever normal daytime television advertisers they have on the platform, which means fundamentally the ad rates are as low as they could possibly be because they are untargeted. Prior to that, kids' ad rates were incredible because kids really want to buy whatever you put in front of them. And it doesn't matter if they don't need some nonstick pan. If they get told on their favorite show that it's the greatest thing that's ever happened, they're going to tell mommy or daddy, you got to buy this crazy pan. How are we cooking my eggs without that? And so it's one of those things that now they just get served whatever shows up. So most of those content creators now rely much more heavily on brand deals. And so when you look at the ways that influencers or content creators make money, most of the time it comes from three different things. It's going to come from ads served inside the platform, Facebook ads, Google AdSense, and YouTube, things of that nature. It's also going to come from sponsor deals, and it's going to come from merchandise. And depending on what the brand is, merchandise can be huge. I've known automotive creators that sell over $1 million a year in shirts and stickers. And that must be amazing for them, but it certainly doesn't affect my brand that way. We sell some cheap shirts because if you want to walk around a car show wearing a VinWiki shirt, I certainly want you to have no obstacles to doing so. But at the same time, it's never going to be the way that I retire. But it's a good way to increase engagement with your audience and offer incentives and stuff like that. But brand deals are huge because, again, these are the new ways of advertising. And when you look at the opportunities for you to represent sponsors in a very authentic way and to expose your viewers to an advertiser potentially at a better ad rate than they would have to pay to add ads in your content very deliberately, which they can do, but also to allow them to have a little bit more flexibility of where that happens, how that gets introduced, and what you can do. And so, we do ads a little bit differently at VinWiki. We sell them by the month because I want to be able to guarantee viewership, which I can only do kind of in the aggregate. You never really know which of your videos is going to take off. But if I'm selling a video every weekday to a sponsor, which is 21 to 24 videos, depending on how many weekdays there are in the month, then I know that I can be comfortable guaranteeing them 5 million views within the next 12 months. And so it allows me to give them a really, really compelling ad rate, ads that stay in place in perpetuity, because, even though I'm going to satisfy that obligation in the first 12 months, they're going to get another 100 to 300,000 views per month forever that they didn't have to pay for.